Today, there are accusations about illegal appointments she supposedly made for various positions in the village, including one where I'm said to be a private investigator. I have some limited information from the U.S. District Court that might shed some light on the situation.
I'm a private investigator. I've got some books that says Super Mayor. Inside I have from the United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois.
Tiffany Henyard, often called the Super Mayor of Dalton, Illinois, is no stranger to controversy. But her latest actions have left many people stunned. From lavish spending to corruption accusations, Henyard is now at the center of a growing political crisis. And if you think things can't get worse, think again, this story is just getting started.
New developments in South Suburban Dalton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial support.
So, what's really happening with Tiffany Henyard? Well, the mayor has been in the news for all the wrong reasons. While many of you might remember her from past scandals, she's now facing even more criticism. It's not just about how she's managed public money. Recently, Henyard has been accused of using taxpayer dollars for personal expenses, like expensive shopping trips and first-class flights. Instead of backing off, she's staying firm, claiming that her critics are just jealous of her success and are targeting her because she's a black woman in power. For the past year, we've been
reporting on questionable spending by a South Suburban politician named Tiffany Henyard, but we only knew half the.
Let's take a moment to look at how this all started. Tiffany Henyard, who was elected mayor in 2021, has faced accusations of everything from mishandling the village's finances to using town resources for her own gain. And by personal gain, we mean spending thousands of taxpayer dollars on things like trips, luxury hotels, and even shopping sprees on Amazon. One report even showed Henyard spent over $43,000 in a single day on Amazon. Yes, you read that right. But it doesn't end there. Public records also reveal that she stayed at high-end hotels, like the Four Seasons in Atlanta and the Marriott in Times Square, New York, piling up bills that most people can only dream of. And it gets even more complicated. Henyard didn't just spend money on herself, she reportedly took her advisors and allies along, with taxpayers covering their first-class flights and festival accommodations. While Henyard says these trips were for the good of the community, many are questioning whether they were really just expensive vacations disguised as official business. Her response? She's playing the victim. At a recent public meeting, she lashed out, telling her critics, "You all should be ashamed of yourselves. You're all black, sitting here attacking a black woman in power." She even called her opponents grandstanders who were simply jealous of her position. According to Henyard, she's being unfairly targeted because of her success as a black woman leading the village, and her critics just can't handle it.
The government always does it, is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're doing here.
People are starting to lose patience. Dalton trustees and community members have openly criticized Henyard's leadership, or lack of it. Brittany Norwood didn't hold back, saying, "How about you be a good leader and bring proposals to the table so we, and everyone in America, can see how the money is being spent?" That was a tough blow. But Henyard's problems don't stop with her questionable spending. She's also been accused of retaliating against anyone who opposes her. Several local business owners have stepped forward, claiming that Henyard hurt their businesses because they refused to contribute to her campaign. One businessman, Lawrence Gardner, said she pressured him to donate. When he refused to renew his donation, his trucking business was allegedly shut down. Gardner even compared Henyard to Nino Brown, the notorious character from New Jack City, saying her leadership style seemed to resemble a gangster persona, especially considering the gangster-inspired outfits she reportedly wears to public meetings. If you're wondering whether things could get any messier in Dalton, the answer is yes. Henyard's administration has been caught up in one scandal after another. Now, there's even talk of a federal investigation into her spending. That's right, the FBI has reportedly served subpoenas to Henyard and her team, looking into her financial records. With millions in taxpayer dollars unaccounted for, and accusations of forged checks and withheld records, it's no wonder the Fed
is shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
But Henyard isn't backing down. In fact, she's already gearing up for her re-election campaign and remains confident that she'll win another term, despite all the controversy surrounding her. She recently announced her plans to run again with all the flair you'd expect from someone who calls herself the super mayor. Understandably, her critics aren't happy. Jason House, who is running against her as part of the Clean House slate, said, "We look forward to Election Day and hope the residents will vote for us to keep up the work we've been doing." He's not the only one hoping for change. Many community members are fed up with Henyard's behavior and are eager for new leadership that will focus on what the village really needs. Speaking of those needs, let's take a look at Dalton's financial situation under Henyard's leadership. When she took office, the village had a general fund balance of $5.61 million. But by May 2024, that balance had dropped to a $365 million deficit. That's right, Dalton is now millions of dollars in debt, and vendors aren't being paid. With the village's finances in disarray and layoffs on the horizon, it's clear things are heading in a troubling direction. As if financial mismanagement wasn't enough, Henyard is now facing eviction from her own home. That's right, the mayor, who earns nearly $300,000 a year, is being evicted for not paying rent. Her landlord, Janetta Hull, has publicly expressed her frustration, saying that Henyard and her boyfriend, K.L. Woods, haven't paid rent since August. Hull explained, "I have a child to take care of. I can't afford to pay for where you live while you're making $375,000. According to Hull, Henyard even went so far as to change the locks and garage code to keep her out of the property. Now, Hull is stuck covering legal fees to get Henyard evicted.
Things as the supervisor, there will be no comments, there will be anything, it will be me addressing you guys to tell you what's
A federal investigation, facing eviction, and running for re-election while Dalton struggles with massive debt. It almost sounds like something out of a reality TV show rather than real life. In fact, some people close to Henyard have even speculated that she might be filming a reality show, given how often cameras seem to be following her. Meanwhile, the residents of Dalton are furious. Local resident Andrea McKay expressed her frustration, saying, "We have senior citizens who can't even afford basic necessities." Another resident, Valeria Stubbs, didn't hold back, stating, "Tiffany needs to be locked up. She needs to be made an example of. She can't go around using our money and spending it however she wants, like the job comes with a cash register."
Supervisor Tiffany Henyard is finding a way to spend money that trustees say they intentionally did not approve, one describing it to me.
Despite the growing backlash, Henyard seems determined to hold on to power. She even took to social media to defend herself, launching into a 90-minute Facebook Live rant where she suggested she would have her opponents arrested. Yes, you heard that right, she's now threatening to press charges against those who criticize her. In the video, she boldly declared, "I will be seeking arrests for individuals involved. I will be pressing charges." While she didn't specify what crimes her opponents supposedly committed, the message was clear: Henyard isn't backing down without a fight. What makes this even more bizarre is the widening rift between Henyard and her former allies. Sources close to the mayor say several key members of her team have either distanced themselves or outright turned against her. One of the most significant departures came when her former assistant, Carmen Carlisle, publicly criticized Henyard, accusing her of gross mismanagement and unethical behavior. Carlisle, who once worked closely with Henyard, has now become one of her fiercest critics, even providing testimony that has fueled the ongoing federal investigation. This betrayal is just the latest in a series of defections, leaving Henyard more isolated than ever.